High on the rugged slopes of Mount Ida in Crete, hidden among pines and wildflowers, there is an ancient silence. The kind of stillness that carries the echoes of stories older than cities, older than kings, stories whispered by wind, shaped by myth, and held in the honeyed breath of the gods. It was here, according to Greek legend, that the infant Zeus, the future king of Olympus, thunder wielder and father of gods, was hidden from his devouring father Cronus. And it was here, in a cave wrapped in moss and shadow, that Zeus was nurtured in secret by divine caretakers. Among them were the nymphs, gentle spirits of nature, and it was they who fed him one of the most sacred, potent foods the earth could offer: honey. This wasn't merely sustenance. This was a divine right. The honey given to Zeus was no ordinary nectar. In some versions of the myth, it was made by sacred bees sent by the goddess Artemis herself, guardian of the wild, the huntress of the moon, and protector of the young. Artemis, though often remembered for her fierce independence and arrow-quick justice, was also a patron of children and animals, the primal, untamed life force of the natural world. What better gift could she offer to a vulnerable godchild than honey, a food created from the wild, by creatures whose dance aligns with the stars and whose labor preserves the bloom? In this tale, honey is more than a sweet offering. It is the first nourishment of the immortal. It is the food that helps build not just the body, but the divine identity of Zeus himself. And when we look more closely through the lens of modern science, the symbolism becomes all the more profound, because honey, especially in its raw, natural form, truly is a wonder food, and particularly for the young. From a nutritional standpoint, honey is energy-dense, rich in simple carbohydrates like glucose and fructose that provide rapid, accessible fuel for growing bodies. This is especially important for children, whose metabolic engines burn brightly and often need quick, reliable sources of energy. But honey is not just sugar. It also contains a remarkable array of micronutrients, trace amounts of minerals like magnesium, potassium, and zinc, as well as bioactive enzymes and compounds that support immunity. Perhaps even more important is honey's antimicrobial power. It is one of the few natural substances that can actively inhibit the growth of bacteria and fungi, thanks to its low moisture content, acidity, and the presence of hydrogen peroxide generated by bees. This makes it not just a sweet treat, but a subtle protector, a food that can help guard against infection and promote healing, especially in small, developing immune systems. There's something almost magical in that, a food made not in factories, but in flowers and hives, offering both pleasure and protection. A food that strengthens, soothes, energizes. A food given to the greatest of gods in his most vulnerable hour, and still given today, by parents to children, by nature to humanity. And the story of Zeus and the honey-fed nymphs is more than a tale from long ago. It reflects something essential about how ancient cultures viewed food, nature, and the body. To feed someone honey was not only to nourish them physically, it was to bless them. It was an anointing, a way of saying, "May you grow strong, may you grow whole, may your life be sweet and filled with light." In the mythology of ancient Greece, food and divinity were never far apart. And honey stood at that sacred intersection. Even now, honey retains that aura. It is the first taste many children remember, a spoonful stirred into warm milk before sleep, a remedy for a sore throat, a golden drizzle over morning bread. It's not just a food, it's a memory, a comfort, a ritual. And for those who care for children, it's still a way to say, "I want you to be well, I want you to be safe, I want you to thrive." Science supports what myth has long known. Honey doesn't just satisfy. It supports growth, it nurtures resilience, it boosts immunity. It is complex and whole in a way that few processed foods can ever hope to be. It carries not just calories, but vitality. And in that way, it mirrors the story of the bees who make it, tireless workers who transform the fleeting bloom of the wild into something that endures, something that gives life. So when we think of the nymphs of Mount Ida, gently offering honey to the infant god beneath a canopy of stars, we are not just hearing a fable. We are glimpsing a truth that spans time and culture. That food, when born of nature and given with love, can be sacred. That honey, though small in volume, is vast in meaning, and that sometimes the greatest gift we can offer the world, whether to a godchild in hiding or a child sleeping down the hall, is a touch of sweetness, a source of strength, and a taste of something eternal.